Have you ever felt like your sensitivity is both your greatest strength and your heaviest burden? Don't take your highly sensitive, deep feeling and overthinking nature for granted. Don't you know you've got a big calling, a dream that longs to be realized, and superpowers you've yet to awaken? But let's be honest, being this deeply attuned to life isn't always easy. You know you're meant for something big, but the world's noise or your own mind holds you back. Well, I've got the medicine you seek. Hi, it's Payal and welcome to Season 5 of the Prana and Poetry Pod. This series, Living Dharmically, is for souls like you, deep thinkers and feelers ready to turn their sensitivity into their superpower. By the end of this episode, I'll share how you can align with your purpose, and I'll also offer you a process that helped me align with mine. Stories are powerful tools for transformation. Let me tell you how I went from identifying as an emotionally sensitive victim to becoming a highly sensitive, badass, dharmic warrior. Living dharmically in a world that ridicules authenticity and truth is a battle, but I'm here for it. I never understood the depth of my sensitivity until I faced a malignant narcissist. Surrounded by energy vampires and users most of my life, I failed to recognize the depth of my empathic soul. If you've ever felt drained by the world around you, you know exactly what I mean. I went from doing a PhD in yoga to getting served a PhD in narcissism. Anyone who's waged war with someone who has narcissistic personality disorder and has come through the other end will no doubt have been wholly educated in this incredibly sinister set of behaviors. You wouldn't have a choice but to learn everything you can to understand what the hell happened to you. Even though I had dharmic roots, spiritual abilities, and creativity, I was disembodied, driven by social conditioning and the Matrix's relentless narrative of who I should be. No wonder I never fit in or had a normal friends group. When I discovered I was an INFJ, it was like finding a missing puzzle piece. I started wearing it like a badge of honor, because having the ability to think differently is undeniably powerful. Living a dharmic life became so much easier once I stopped betraying my true nature, what we call Svabhāva in Sanskrit. Your Svabhāva, the inborn talents and innate characteristics of your personality, points directly to your life's unique purpose. And Svabhāva underlies Swadharma, your personal purpose and calling. Well over a decade ago, I didn't know this, and I don't regret for a second leaving the PhD behind. Now I can clearly see that it would have been just another Western colonial project distorting Dharma, a dark agenda designed to hijack my psyche and turn me into a puppet, severing yoga from its roots. Over 10 years ago, there were no emic academic sources, just distorted knowledge from white men with no voices from within the culture. Imagine me studying yoga academically, yet completely disembodied. The more I took in information from the Western perspective, the more disconnected I became. The more lost and embroiled I became in material things like toxic relationships, and finally my body gave in. A psychosomatic injury to my tailbone left me barely able to walk for 2 years straight. Doctors even suggested surgery to remove my tailbone. I was on the strongest painkillers 3 times a day just to cope. Imagine that. Life crippled me because I wasn't listening to my inner nature, my needs, the truth around me. I couldn't see it. Rahu Mahadasha, anyone? I was forced to stop, feel, and heal. To let go of everything that was not aligned. Can you say South Node, Ketu, anyone? That time was of being cracked wide open, a forced disconnection from all toxic relationships and environments, including Western academia, another place where narcissism thrives, FYI. If you've lived long enough as a highly sensitive soul, you too would have experienced your dark night of the soul, where you were forced to look at yourself, your life, what you thought you knew, and seeing the walls of your reality collapse. You would have been forced to question your self-concept and surrender who you think you are to who you truly are. Even if you've embraced your Svabhāva, your intrinsic nature, and worked on boundaries, emotional wounds might still hold you back. There are still some old dharmic patterns that keep you in people-pleasing mode, that keep you being a fly on the wall rather than center stage in your life and purpose. Getting dharmic support and walking the yogic path was the ultimate solution for all the struggles that came with being deeply sensitive. And I'm talking about the real yogic path as taught by teachers from indigenous lineages, the keepers of traditional wisdom, not the westernized fitness version. A highly sensitive soul comes into this world with a sattvic quality. There is a natural seeking for truth. There is intense awareness of the senses and intense experiences which the average person can't understand. There is strong intuition and creative ability, but these can be blocked by being in the wrong environment, like I was. A sensitive person thrives when they're connected to their buddhi, the higher mind that discerns truth independently of external noise. Today, free, independent thinkers are rare, even within dharmic cultures, because so many get swept away by ideologies and trends instead of staying rooted in their true selves, which the true dharmic and yogic path provides. If learnt correctly, of course. And I'm the living example that it doesn't work if taught by bias and the etic way, that is to say, thinking that is not native to the lived culture of yoga, Sanatan Dharma, known as the eternal way or path. The shadow side of sensitivity is allowing the outer environment to dictate your thoughts and actions. Emotions can spiral out of control, often showing up as anger, and beneath that is the sorrow, sadness, or grief that has not been tended to, or just the heavier emotions that have not been given a voice and expression. If you ignore your emotions, you'll derail your goals repeatedly. But when you honor your feelings, they become messengers from your soul, guiding your next steps. And I've been blessed to learn from incredible teachers and to participate in grief rituals that honor emotional expression, stabilize the body and mind, and bring clarity to path and purpose. You bet that when I began the process that I now teach, which includes my yoga sadhana, creative embodiment, and reconnection to Vedic rituals, my path aligned as if by magic. Teaching yoga along with transformative writing and art is part of my Swadharma. I also know it's my duty to heal my own dharmic lineage. And as I continue to do so, I heal myself in the process. This reciprocity from life is dharma in action. The spiritual life purpose of a highly sensitive soul is at her fingertips. It is who you innately are, the things you do daily that bring a sense of expansion and fulfillment. Derailment of your big path and mission happen when you don't have a solid process to turn to that keeps the mental and emotional body churning and transforming. Dharma supports natural law and the natural order. Don't resist your feelings, but lean into them. This is where I can help. If you're frustrated, stuck, or unclear about your next step, my writing and embodiment workshop will help you awaken your voice, align your inner and outer environments, and support you in meeting your goals for the next quarter. Root yourself in authentic dharmic teachings that nourish inner safety and stability so you can take aligned action towards your big vision. Details are in the description box below. Hey, it's Payal, your Dharmic Life Path Guide. And if you are curious about this new podcast series, Living Dharmically, and you're eager to slay some demons as you rise to meet your potential and vision, then subscribe to my channel and you'll hear from me again in the next one. Rise up, warrior.